Hello, I'm Taro, and I'm here to give you a thorough explanation of a game, Nine Chronicles. I got a lot of questions about how to do this and how to do that in this game, so I'm going to make a video explaining every feature this game currently has. This game is currently under development right now, so some of the things I will say will change from time to time. I will explain everything I can based on what's in the game as of now, but things can change, as it did before. So don't fully trust what I say in this video, just use for the reference. First thing I'm going to talk about is the features of the game, and at the end I'll tell you how to send NCG and briefly explain some errors people seem to experience. Nine Chronicles is a decentralized game running on a blockchain, so there is no central server. Most games run on a central server owned by the company. So this is a major difference that Nine Chronicle has from the other games. There's many things to talk about this, but today I'm going to talk about the game itself, such as how to play and what you can do, not the technology this game is using. When you enter the game, the goal for you is to clear the stages. To clear the stages, you need to beat up some monsters. Early stages are easy, but later on monsters get stronger, of course. So you need to get a good equipment. To get a good equipment, you need to farm the materials for it by clearing stages many times. So it's like a merry-go-round. You clear some stages, get a material that can create better equipment, make better equipment, and you will be able to clear more stages. First, when you create your own character, you'll come to the main lobby. This is how it looks, and I'll briefly explain what's what, and after explaining everything, I'll get into each part and give you the details. First, you can see your character, nothing special, and there's a shop where you can trade various items. I'll explain later what items are tradable and what's not. Just note that you can trade certain items using gold, which is NCG. Next to the shop is a workshop where you can create various equipments and consumables. You can also upgrade your equipment, and you may not know what the consumables are right now, but don't worry, I'll explain it later. Next to it, there's an arena where you can challenge other players, and it's simply 1v1, and you can get the materials for the consumables. And there's a little black hat, it's just for the tutorial, it lets you know some things. So it's doing the same thing as I am doing. And right below the cat, there's some kind of stone pad, and it sort of looks like a portal, and that's where you can enter the stages. And at the lower center, there is something called a dungeon, and dungeon's name is Mimisbrunner. I don't know how to pronounce this thing, but it's basically the same as the stages. You can get materials for it, but there's some kind of limitation. I'll tell you about this later on. And the next thing is these little icons at the left. And this is a quit button. You can quit the game or change the character. You can currently create up to 3 characters per account right now. And this is mail. When you craft equipment or consumables or buy an item from the shop, it will come to this mail, and you have to click this icon. Mail list will show up, and you have to receive whatever item you got. It will not come to your inventory automatically. Next is quest. If you click this button, you can see what quest you can do. For example, there's going to be a quest that tell you to craft certain items. And if you do that, it will give you back some rewards. If you want to clear those quests, go do it. And next is the ranking. Rankings right here. You can see how other players are doing. Ranks can be organized by the CP, which basically tells you how strong you are, or how many stages have you cleared, or how good equipment you have. You can check out other players' items, so that's kind of cool. Next is character. When you click this, you can see your inventory and change your equipment from here. I'll have to explain in a separate slide since there are some important things to talk about right here. So let's move on from now. Next is workshop. This shows the progress of what you're crafting from the workshop. I'll also have to explain this with a separate slide, so yeah. Next is chat. It redirects to the official Nine Chronicles Discord channel. Join if you want to. Next is settings. And this just gives you your private key and public key. And please remember, do not show your private key to others. On the top right, there is 3 bars. First, there's gold. This tells you how much gold you have. And there's a little plus icon right there. It seems like you can buy some gold from someplace else, but it doesn't work right now. It was for pre-sale. I'm probably sure, but it's over now. Next thing is the action point. You need action point because every time you enter each stage or dungeon, you will have to consume action point. It's like a stamina. For normal stages, you need 5 action point to enter, and for dungeons, you need 10. Next is the prosperity meter, and this is where you get the action point. Once this gauge fills up, you can click on it. When you click it, your action point will be refilled and the prosperity meter will reset. Prosperity meter will rise by 1 point each time new block is added to the game. And since average block time is about 10 seconds for this game, it will take about 17,000 seconds for the meter prosperity meter to fill up. That's about 5 hours. And that's all for the main lobby. I said I have to explain some things in details, so let's go. When you click the character on the main page, screen something like this will show up. On the left box, you can see your inventory. There's 4 tabs: equipment, consumables, materials, and costumes. You can click on each tab to see what you have right now. At the center, you can see what equipment you are wearing right now. You can equip 1 weapon, 1 armor, 1 belt, 1 necklace, and 2 rings. You can double click on the inventory to equip the item, and if you want to unequip, double click on the things you want to unequip. If you see at the top, there's a thing called CP. CP is basically an item level of your character, and game will automatically calculate the CP based on the equipment you are wearing. Above it, you can see your character level, character name, and your character ID. On the right, you can see the stats of your character, which tells you how strong you are. These stats are used to calculate the CP. HP is basically your health. And attack is how strong your basic attacks are, and defense is the defense. And CRI is critical, and it's the chance to do a critical damage. You can do double damage if you do a critical damage. Hit is a hit rate. If this is too low, you'll miss your attack. This is important, and I'll explain the reason a bit later. Speed is the speed of your attack. If your speed is higher, you can do more damage before the monster hits you back. The numbers in the white color is the stats based on your character level. The green numbers are from your equipment. As you can see, the equipment dominates the overall stats, so good equipment is everything in this game. Okay, if you click the workshop icon, you will see what you're crafting right now. In this game, when you're crafting something, it takes a time. A time differs for each item, but usually it takes longer to make a higher tier items. Such as you can see, I'm making 4 Black Crow swords, and it takes 240 blocks to craft one. You can craft up to 4 items at the same time, and if you want to accelerate the crafting time, you can click accelerate button. If you click it, a pop-up like this will show up, and you can spend the hourglass item to speed up the crafting. Hourglass can be purchased through the shop, and each time you refill your action point through the prosperity meter, you get 10 hourglasses. If you enter the beacon from the main lobby, this screen appears. It shows a world in this game, and each world has 50 stages. World 1 has stage from 1 to 50, and World 2 has stages 51 to 100, and so on. The 5th stage is supposed to have stage 201 to 250, but for now there's up to 220. If you click the world, you can see each stages. I said there are 50 stages in this world, but there's only 20 on this screen. Rest of the stages can be seen if you click this arrow. To enter the stages, click on the stages you want to enter, and after you click on the stages, you can check what kind of monsters you will encounter in this stage, and what item can you farm from this stage, and how much EXP can you farm from this stage. It doesn't mean you will get every material listed on here. It just means you have a chance to get some of these. Keep in mind, these materials are used to craft equipments. So in order to create a good equipment, you want to check what items you can farm from each stage. And you'll have to enter the stage many times to get enough materials to make an equipment. Once you click enter, you will see some. If you click enter, you will something like this. And here you can finalize your character before entering the stage. You can change your equipment here, but most important thing to note here is that you can use consumables. Consumables are a one-time buff. They can help you with the stage. Consumable can be crafted from the workshop or you can purchase from the shop. There are the slots where you can equip your consumables. It's right here. Consumables will be consumed once you enter the stage. As I said, it's for one-time use. It will disappear. As you can see, I can equip up to 4 consumables. But if you're new to this game, you will have fewer slots. Additional slots will be unlocked once you reach a certain level. If you want to check what level it is, just hover your mouse over it, it will show. Once you're done setting, you can start the stage by clicking the start button. If you turn on the repeat, the game will repeat the current stage until you run out of the action point, unless you go back to the lobby once the stage is over. If you do not turn on the repeat button, the game will proceed to the next stage if you clear the current one. Once you enter the stage, you will see this loading screen. Since this is a blockchain game, the information that you entered the game has to be written on the blockchain. Until then, you have to wait. Once the blockchain writes this information down, the game will proceed. After loading, the stage is played out. Each stage you have to defeat 3 waves of enemy. If you die before the first wave, you don't get anything. If you beat the first wave, you get EXP points. If you beat the second wave, you get the materials. If you beat the third wave, you get to enter the next stage. On the bottom right, you can turn off the repeat button, and this bar shows how many waves you have currently beat. And I said I'll explain about the speed. Other sets like attack and defense is quite straightforward. You deal the damage, attack minus the defense of that monster, and you take the damage from the monster by the attack minus your the defense. Speed is similar. Monsters have certain attack speed, and you have your own attack speed. And if you have higher speed, you can deal faster. So example, let's say you do about 3 damage, while monsters do 1. If you keep higher speed equipment, you can do more than 3 damage, while the monsters do 1 damage. So in this case, you deal about 4 or 5 times. So this higher speed is very important. In this game, there's a combo system. If you succeed to deal a damage in a row without a miss, you get a combo. Based on your level, you have different number of max combos. First attack is always one combo, which deals 100% damage. Second damage deals double damage, and a third combo is 3 times the damage, and it goes on. On each combo, there's also additional critical possibility bonus. Base critical possibility is 10%, and if you are about to deal a second combo, there's a 10% point critical possibility increase, so your critical possibility becomes 20%. And the third combo has higher critical chance. So yeah, but keep in mind, if you get a miss, your combo will start over from 1, so higher hit rate is very important. And if you're level 1 to 99, your max combo will be 3. And if you get level 100, there will be a fourth combo. So fourth combo is very strong, so you want to level up fast. If you enter the arena, you can see the list of people to challenge. You need a ticket to enter the arena, just like you need action point to enter the stage. You can have up to 5 tickets, and the ticket will automatically refill every 500 blocks. You can see the rating of each character and their CP. If you challenge someone with higher rating and win, you will get more rating. Even if you challenge someone with lower rating than you still get some rating if you win. So try to consume your tickets to get higher rating. And usually higher rating doesn't mean higher CP. So try to challenge someone with high rating with low CP. Each time you enter the arena, you get some materials you can use to craft consumables. Consumables are really good to clear out hard stages, so please try to consume the tickets. And if you have higher ratings, you can get materials for higher tier consumables. In the shop, you can buy and sell you have to make something from the materials if you want to sell something. All the trades are done by using gold, and if you sell something, 8% of the price will be taken as a fee. For example, if you sell something at the 100 gold, you only get 92 gold. You can view the item, sort it by the CP, price, etc. And if you click the listed item, you can see the remaining time of that item. When the time is over, the item will go back to the owner. If that feature doesn't exist, the market will overflow with unsold items. So if you're the seller, make sure you list again once the item is taken down from the market. If you want to sell something, click on sell button and everything will be quite straightforward. Now the workshop. I will explain how workshop works along with the item element and tiers. This will be quite long and has the essence of this game. Understanding the item mechanics will give you better insight to sort out what is good item and what is not. It can be a little bit complicated, but I'll try my best. For now, let's say we wanted to create an equipment. So we go and click equipment. Then something like this will show up. Since we are on the weapons tab, we can see all the weapons we can create. Most weapons are locked until you beat certain stages. And for me, since I didn't beat stage 204 yet, I can't make this sword. Each item has the base stats. For example, Gladiator Sword Earth has base attack stat 152. And the Wind version has 327. Let's say I wanted to make this sword. You can click that. Then this window will show up. As you can see, there are 3 boxes. You can select one of these boxes to create the sword you selected. The materials needed are listed here. Each box creates the same sword, which is Gladiator Sword with the attack 327. However, each box gives the sword a different bonus stat, and this is important part. This bonus stat do a big part in increasing your CP. Okay, so let's say I choose the first box, and then when sword is crafted, it will have one of these bonus options added to the base stat. As you can see, we have 64% chance of getting a bonus attack stats, and the stat ranges from 100 to 241. For 19%, we get speed stat. For 17, we get an attack stat, but the range is about 50% higher than the 64 one. So the lock plays the major part when you craft your weapon, and armor, belt, everything. If you choose the second box, you can see that we need way more materials than the first one. But if you look at the bonus stat, you can see that the range is much higher, and we have 6% of getting a wind double attack. And this is skill. If you get into that 6% luck and got this option, your weapon will have skill instead of bonus attack or speed. As you can see on the right side, both weapons is the same sword, but has a different additional stat. Bonus stat. The CP of each item is different because the bonus stats are different from each other. As you can see, this one has 192 and this is 240. If you look at the third box, you can see I don't have this crystal material, this red one. This is because there's no way you can get this crystal in this game yet, and most of the equipment will require you this crystal to choose this third box. But the third box gives you 2 bonus stat instead of 1. There are only a few items that let you craft this third box, and I'll tell you about this after I tell you about the tiers of the items. Most equipment in this game have elements and tiers. There's fire, water, earth, and wind. And this one has no element. People usually call this one a base item because it's used to upgrade your equipment, but I'll explain it a bit later when I tell you about the upgrading. If you look at it, the base stat increases from no element, fire, water, earth, wind. Wind is the strongest element in this game, in the same tier. If you look at the next one, there's another no element weapon, and there's another fire, but if you look at it, it has 2 fire images. This means this one is tier 2 weapon. Tier 2 has its own fire, water, earth, and wind, and the name of the weapon is usually the same if they're in the same tier. For tier 1 weapon, the name is longsword, and for tier 2 weapon, it's gladiator sword. Higher tier doesn't mean it's stronger. For example, tier 1 wind has base attack stat 136, but tier 2 water sword only has 37. So make sure you check this base stat because the bonus option you get usually follows the basic stat. Stronger weapons have better bonus stats, so keep that in mind. Some equipment have 2 tier 3 items, weapons and armor. As you can see, there are 2 base items for the tier 3 items. One right here and one right there. But they have different base stats. So, what does element do in this game? It will give you additional damage in certain case. This picture here gives you how the element react to each other. Fire is strong against wind, and wind is strong against the earth, like that. If you get the advantage of this element system, you do 20% more damage. Your attack element will be decided by the weapon you're wearing, and the defense will be determined by the armor you're wearing. Let's say you're holding a fire element weapon, and your enemy wears a wind armor, or is wind monster, then you will be dealing 20% more damage than normal. But don't get confused. If you're holding a fire weapon and enemy is water element, your damage will be just doing fine. There's no disadvantage. However, if enemy is holding the water sword and you're wearing a fire armor, enemy will be doing more damage than normal. But honestly, there's little room to consider this element system for now. As you just saw before, the basic and the additional stats, which is bonus stat of the equipments, really differs a lot. So people usually go for the better equipment instead of thinking about this element thing. Just keep in mind that this system exists in this game. Now, the upgrade system. Throughout the game, you will have to upgrade your equipment to clear the stages. Each upgrade, the item will have a higher base stat and sometimes higher bonus stat. To upgrade the item, you need 2 same tier, same upgrade item. Let's say I wanted to upgrade this Guardian necklace. This is tier 2 necklace, so I need another tier 2 necklace, which is right here. If I do upgrade, I get +1 Guardian necklace. You can see it has a bit higher base stat. For each upgrade, you will get about 7 to 8 base stat upgrade. The same rule applies to the higher upgrades. I said there are two tier 3 items for weapons and armor. Their names are different, but since they are the same tiers, so they are compatible when upgrading. The same rule applies, as I said, the same rule applies to the higher upgrades. Let's say I wanted to make this +3 second tier water sword to +4. In order to do this, in order to do the upgrade, I need another tier 2 weapon with +3 upgrade. Since I want to make this +4 water sword, I will use this water sword as a base item, and use this fire sword as an ingredient. The ingredient sword will disappear once you upgrade. If you look at here, you can see I need to pay 200 gold to upgrade to +4 weapon. Whenever you are upgrading to +4 or 7, 10, you need to pay gold. In other numbers such as 2, 3, 5, 6, you don't need to pay anything. To summarize, for each upgrade you get about 7% base stat bonus, and when upgrading to +4, +7, +10, you get 30% bonus for the bonus stat. But in return, you need to pay gold to do that. On the right, this +7 thin ring has 199 attack as a bonus stat. If you calculate backwards, you can roughly estimate it had originally about 130 attack as a bonus stat. This is the ring with a skill. Since the defense is the base stat, you can see these both rings have same defense stat. But for this one, the bonus stat is not attack, but a skill. It has a power of 27, 85, and a chance of 14%. It means each time you attack, you will have a 14% chance of doing a skill instead of a normal attack. Some skills do damage to all monsters all at once, so make sure you check that out too. The power and the chance of that skill is under the same rule as the other bonus stats. So originally this ring had about 8% chance when it had 0 upgrade, and about 11% chance when +4. The amount of gold you need to pay when upgrading to +4, 7, 10 is listed right here. The amount is about shown here, but from what I heard, it will become cheaper soon, but I'm not sure when. Dungeon is like stages with minor differences. You can farm some special materials from here. Remember I said when crafting items, you can select for you cannot select the third box because the crystal item doesn't exist in the game yet, the red ones. The exception comes here. If you look at the tier 1 fire element equipment, you can see that the third box doesn't tell you to bring you those red crystals. Those materials are from this dungeon. Equipment crafted from these have the quite high bonus stats, so you might want to check them out. However, you cannot enter this dungeon until you reach level 100, and you can only wear fire element equipment in this dungeon. So it's kinda hard to beat the stage. And that's all for the in-game. Now I'll tell you how to send the NCG to the other account. In order to send the NCG, you need to have a launcher on. Then go to this site using any browser you like, Chrome, Safari, anything works, and type this. I know this is a slideshow, and since you're looking at the image, so you won't be able to copy this. I will post this address in the description below. Once you open up that web page, you will see some space where you can type something. Type this text into that area. Make sure you change the amount of NCG you want to send, and to properly copy paste the address you want to you want to send to. I will post this form at the description below too. When you're done with that, just simply click on the icon at the center. Then you just send some NCG to somebody. Just keep in mind, you cannot undo what you just did. So make sure you type in the right address and the right amount. So let's say I wanted to send 10 NCG to this address. Then it will be something like this. A lot of people said they mined a block and showed on the game screen and suddenly got disappeared. Or you might have entered the stage with consumables, but it got error 16. So things may seem gone. Many things can seem to be abnormal, but this is a normal behavior since this game runs on a blockchain. I won't be explaining how whole blockchain works, but I'll try to break down each case so you have at least a rough idea of what's happening. First, NCG. You may have seen the balance go up in your launcher or the game, and that means that your computer have mined a block. However, network can select the block other people mined. The reason for this selection has many reasons. Other people might have mined that block firsthand, or it might have more transactions in it. If the majority of the chain chooses that path, your versions get obsolete. Then your launcher eventually follows the rest of the network. Then your launcher or screen is updated with original balance. That's what's happening. Consumables. You're trying to beat this stage with your full consumables and sadly you got error 16. Error 26. It means for whatever reason your transaction did not get played on your screen. However, if you are sure that your consumables are gone, that means that the game has played out. Check the stages. If new stage is opened, yeah, you did it. If not, you had bad luck. If your consumables are back in place, then game didn't play out. Your action point should be same too. Action point. I kinda explained just now. If action point has decreased, the game played out. If not, it didn't. Craft. You are waiting for your long hour crafts to be done, and suddenly you cannot see it anywhere. Same rule applies here. Either it happened or it didn't. You will have the materials back to your inventory or look for your craft in your inventory. It will be there somewhere. Any other things can happen in this game, and the blockchain nature of this game will be frustrating, but remember, it either happened or it didn't. Your game screen merely reflects the actions conducted in the network, but it sometimes misses. And that's all I have. Thanks for watching. I hope you get some idea how this game works. And if you're inclined to donate, you know how, because I just told you. I'll leave my address below. Any donation is always welcome. Thanks again, and goodbye.